All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that, let's be honest, is a source of anxiety for millions of people: hair loss. But what if the way we've been thinking about it has been kind of wrong all along? Turns out this is absolutely not a one-size-fits-all problem.
So let's just kick things off with this really powerful idea from our source material. This one sentence, it's basically the key to unlocking everything we're about to get into. It really changes the whole conversation.
So what does that really mean? It means we're not just looking at one problem here. We're actually dealing with two totally different biological stories. It's kind of like trying to solve a crime, but you've got two completely different sets of clues. So let's unpack them.
All right, let's get into that first story, and it's probably the one you're most familiar with: male pattern baldness. As our source material lays out, this side of the story is often, well, a lot more straightforward, a lot more predictable.
For men, the main culprit has a name. It's a hormone called DHT, and you can think of it like a slow-motion poison that just gradually shrinks your hair follicles over time. It's a very clear biological process, and we know exactly what's causing it.
And yeah, this process, it follows this super predictable pattern. It's almost like a blueprint, you know? It usually starts at the temples, with that receding hairline, then it moves to the crown, and it can eventually lead to baldness. This clear pathway makes diagnosing it pretty simple. Now, because the problem is so clear-cut, so predictable, the mindset for treatment is often just as direct. It's kind of like having a leaky faucet in your house. You just want to fix it, and you want to fix it for good, right now.
And that's why you see men often heading straight for the big guns, right? We're talking about powerful treatments like hair transplants, PRP injections, and medications. These are all designed to go on the attack and deal with the DHT and those shrinking follicles directly.
Okay, so that's the male side of the equation. Now let's switch gears and look at the other side of the story. And trust me, what we're about to find out is that for women, it is a completely different ballgame.
You see, unlike that classic M-shape pattern you see in men, hair loss in women is usually this subtle, all-over thinning. It's almost like a fine mist that just settles over the whole scalp. And this lack of a clear pattern is our very first clue that we're dealing with something way more complex.
And this right here is where things get, well, really complicated. For women, it is almost never just one thing. It could be hormonal shifts from pregnancy or menopause. It could be nutritional stuff like low iron or vitamin D. Heck, it could even be chronic stress or an autoimmune issue. It's this tangled web of possibilities, and it's different for everyone.
So the big takeaway here is this: you can't just slap a Band-Aid on the problem and call it a day. You have to become a detective, you know? You've got to investigate the entire system to find out what's really going on at the root of it all.
Okay, so we've got these two very different realities. What does that actually mean when it comes to treatment? Let's put them side by side and see just how different the strategies really have to be. I mean, this slide just nails it, doesn't it? For men, it's often a targeted attack, a real search and destroy mission. But for women, it's all about detective work. It's about unraveling a mystery. And look, this isn't just about using different words. This fundamental difference has huge, real-world consequences, especially when you start talking about the most aggressive options, like surgery.
Wow, this table is a real eye-opener. It shows you exactly why a hair transplant, which can be a total game-changer for a man, is often a much, much riskier bet for a woman. A lot of it comes down to the quality of the donor hair, and for women, that can be the biggest hurdle.
So, where does this leave us? After digging into these two very different stories, what's the one thing you absolutely need to take away from all this? Well, it all comes down to one word: personalization.
Let's end with this powerful quote from our source material that just says it all perfectly. Men often need a surgical strike. Women need a full-blown investigation.
You know, at the end of the day, it really is about understanding what you're up against. Are you fighting a clear, straightforward battle, or are you in the middle of a complex guerrilla war? The answer to that question changes your entire strategy.
And so, I'll leave you with this one final question to really think about. Is your treatment plan just fighting a symptom on the surface? Or is it actually getting to the real cause? Your answer to that might be the key to everything.